Whoa, there's a lot of red around here. Welcome Improvement Gang. If you like this type of content, make sure you smash the like button, as it will increase the chances of the YouTube algorithm picking this video up. Anyway, let's go into the video. Okay, so what exactly is selective attention? In technical terms, it is when your brain directs its attention to an exclusive point. This can also be called the cocktail party effect, which in my opinion is a much better way to understand selective attention. If you're not aware of it, the cocktail party effect is when you're in an area where people are talking, drinks are going around, noise is in the background, but yet you're able to have a conversation and just block out everything else. And this is very useful, especially for not being overwhelmed by the amount of information that you receive. And you also do this in your everyday life. One noticeable way is actually through your phone. I'm sure you look up something every day on your phone, or that you encounter ads on YouTube. What do? Well, you ignore them, and this is actually called banner blindness. Specifically, this means that you are looking at the information that really matters and is valuable to you. Now, there is a small loophole in this, and that is that you're not filtering everything out. Simply, you have two functions going on in your brain. First one directs its attention to a certain specific focal point, but the second one is actually filtering out the background information without you being aware of it. And what it does is filter out for things that just seem to not correlate or are important to you. But if something is mentioned, it will bring it up to you. This is why if you're having a conversation with someone and then you hear something that resembles your name, you're going to look at that direction to see what is going on. And this filtering, you're not really aware of it, but it's going on in the background. Pretty much, it could be like a superpower. Honestly, if you really think about it, you have two things happening at the same time in your brain, and that is very powerful. Now, in terms of self-improvement, how does this even apply, right? The first thing is going to be that efficient work requires focused attention. And for the most part, we have actually been deceived by the rest of the world. We have been told that multitasking is this awesome thing that you should do because it's going to take advantage of your time. On the surface level, multitasking is seen as something that's going to make the most value because you're going to be able to do many things at once, and that way you're like, oh, 2 and 1, awesome. It is better to do than 1 and 1. However, if you dig in deeper, what this really means is distracted attention. It brings you this opportunity to make errors, to miss out details that otherwise you would have seen if you weren't distracted. This is where selective attention works really well with the flow state. Yup, that good old flow state. Many people have not experienced much of it, but when they do, things just tend to be easier. They tend to be as smooth as butter. They tend to make things much easier and even make you feel unstoppable. And I don't know if you have seen the movie Limitless and the NZT drug. The flow state could be very much that NZT. Now, although it sounds very awesome, it's actually very hard to reach this flow state in your daily lives. The only thing that you can do about it is increase the chances of it happening. Well, how do we do it? Well, we do this with the help of selective attention. And now you have to increase selective attention, right? That means that you have to be better at concentrating. You have to be better at filtering out things in the background that are not important and filter out the good things that are valuable to you. But you can't consciously be doing this at the same time. So the answer is two things: repetition and feedback. You see, the more you're able to repeat and practice your focus on your daily tasks, your skill value is actually going to increase on how you perform a certain thing, but also your attention span. You see, if you practice focusing on, let's say it is video games, right? If you practice focusing on video games without any other distractions other than the game itself, after hours of repetition, you're actually going to be a master at this. And you're gonna be able to determine what matters and what doesn't at the background. You don't even have to think about it, and you're gonna be fully focused. So please stop being distracted, mostly by your phones, when you're trying to practice something important. Ensure that you're able to practice thoroughly, at least for a certain amount of time. And I'm not saying it has to be a long time, it can just be 15 minutes, but ensure that you're able to concentrate in this small window of time. When you fully immerse yourself in whatever you're doing, you actually get to experience the little details. You see, to a novice or an amateur, the little details, they just tend to fly by. But to an expert, seeing those small little changes, those small little details change, could mean predicting the success or failure of something going on. And when you become an expert, you're going to be able to shift your strategy in order to succeed in mere seconds. Okay, that is the first thing, right? That is going to be to put in the work. But you also have to take into consideration the feedback. For a lot of people, this could be the hard part and might require some type of discipline. I mean, how can you actually tell that whatever you're doing, whatever you're repeating so much, is what you're supposed to be doing? Well, it is a little hard to go into the details of this video. However, I'm just gonna brush over the general terms of it. The best way to have a good feedback system is to have three things. A way to keep track of consistency, and very simply, this could be on a calendar. Place 1 star on each day that you successfully completed a habit that you want to accomplish. The second part is efficiency, and very simply, this can be done with a timer. How much are you doing per certain amount of time? Can it be increased? Are you performing where you're supposed to be performing at? And the last thing is going to be quality. Very simply, this can be a comparison. Are you doing better than you did before? Or are you doing better than what other people have been doing at your certain stage? So keep that in mind, and I hope that you actually implement that. In the future days, I will make a video about making good feedback loops. All of that is good and dandy, but is there some general type of way to understand what you're doing is the good thing? Yes, and that is fundamentals. You have to stick to the fundamentals. This is why NBA stars practice the fundamentals: passing, dribbling, and shooting form. Once they have these, they know that if they practice these, that is going to lead them to win. For this reason, again, another example is why a checklist, a simple checklist, saved thousands of lives at many medical facilities simply by following a checklist, following the fundamentals. It can be boring maybe to stick to the fundamentals because they're so repetitive, but they're so effective. Ask yourself, of whatever you're trying to accomplish, what are the fundamentals that you have to master? Make sure you understand the fundamentals and you practice these. Now, if you want to learn how to make the most of your time in terms of productivity, click here where I went in a more detailed way about this. In the comments, let me know what you're trying to accomplish currently in your life. Anyway, you have a good one.